If you are enjoying the content and would like to help us continue making videos, your support on Patreon or Subscribestar would be amazing. We are a team of 5 full-time employees and unfortunately we are not yet sustainable and rely wholly on ad revenue from other channels. And even with ad revenue, the monetization status of channels can switch without warning, especially with channels that are as outspoken as Night's Watch. If every one of our active viewers were able to donate between $1 to $5 a month, that would make us fully self-sustainable, and then we could try and grow and push to making even more and better content for you. Any support would be phenomenal, and thank you to everyone who is supporting us on Patreon or Subscribestar. Welcome back to The Watch, and we have just watched Ms. Marvel Episode 3.
Wait, she is not married?
No, she is not.
Oh.
But there was a marriage in this episode.
Yes.
Alrighty, well, I have thoughts, of course, but first I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Nathan, this is your first foray into Miss Marvel.
My first review.
Yes.
It's not my show, quite honestly. It's quite...
I wonder... Sorry, that's not a surprise. I was like, who could have predicted that?
It's not my show. I also don't like Marvel's format for TV shows. I don't like the format of... They get a ground base of something that's going to happen, they, hint at some conflict, things grow, and then they subvert it with some other conflict that's going to happen at the end, and they hype it up, and then end of episode 2, they kind of forget what you ended on, and I just don't like how, there's not much payoff for me.
Okay, yeah.
They always hype it up at the end, and the next episode they kind of forget that that's where we were going. So that just annoys me as a viewer.
Interesting.
I like to see the Muslims dancing and happy, because I would rather see them happy than angry.
Thank you, Oz.
Claudia?
What do you think, Claudia?
I liked the show, I guess. It was... there were a lot of things I was kind of like, what? And then there was a lot of things I was like, eh? And then, yeah.
I'm really interested in made you go, what? Yeah! I want to hear specifics. For me, I like this episode. I would even go so far to call it good. Because it had some things that I just appreciate more so in the comic book genre, and this was the most superhero-y episode for me so far. There were some specific tropes that are part of the superhero genre that I was happy to see. They were given very light credit, basically. They only appeared in a little bit, and so to me this is still very much a diet superhero show. It is not, doesn't embrace the genre to the level that I enjoy. I could see other people enjoying it because there are things to enjoy in it. The actress is as charming as ever. I think she's kind of carrying the show at the moment. She can
Totally.
Yeah, she's pulling off the role. There was less pointless stuff. Like episode 2, there was so much pointless crap in it, which just made me bored.
Yeah.
This, most of what happened was directly related to the narrative around the superpowers, which I like. That's what I want. Even the things that you might think was tangential, like the wedding, was specifically there to show how she needs to manage her life with superpowers. Mm-hmm. And so her possible superhero thing is impacting her real life now, and that's how you do it. That's how you do proper superhero shows. You don't do these random things where your friend is running for the council in the mosque or whatever, which has no relation to the actual story we're interested in, which is the superpowers.
Or any effect on Kamala.
Exactly. That was like so unrelated. Where in this episode, the things that were happening that seemed to be separate to the superhero story is actually an integral part of it. That's how you do it. Good to see. And then I have some more specifics as well. It's not to say the episode was perfect by a long shot. There were some annoyances I had here and there. And before I share some of my broader kind of annoyances, is there anything specific that you guys want to mention?
I just want to say I didn't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to clarify with that. Mm-hmm. It's not my show, but there were still things I found
Yeah.
enjoyable.
Like, if I was expecting a full-blown superhero show and I got given this, I would actually be legitimately ticked off, and I would dislike the show vastly more. I kind of knew what I was getting into going into this. Like, this is a show... the trailer kind of gave me the vibe, so perhaps the trailer achieved what it was meant to do. Is like, this isn't meant for you. But also, therefore, Disney, Marvel, whatever, you have no right to complain if no one's watching this, or the larger superhero audience, comic book fans, are not watching this, because it's not made for them. This is not a true, full-blown, embracing the genre superhero story. It's a teen girl drama with some superhero things tacked onto it, though this one has the most superhero parts to it so far. So I completely get if people find this boring, dull, and they don't like it. That's understandable. Back to main points, things that stood out for you, like the biggest elements of the episode you'd like to comment on before we go scene by scene.
I just got to make a lot more jokes this time,
Yeah.
and I remembered a lot of them.
They put a lot more Muslim into it.
Yeah?
A lot more references.
There was a lot more cultural kind of
and some legends
sprinkling.
and stuff.
Which I actually enjoy many different shows that get to explore a culture wholly and completely. Like, this is one of the aspects I like about Mulan. Mulan is a Disney princess but based in China.
Yeah.
What I don't like is when they go so far to ignore some of the foundation of the princess genre, stuff like that, which is medieval European history and stuff. And so let's not forget, let's celebrate all the good aspects of these cultures. And so, yeah, I was like, hey.
I like seeing legends and myths from other cultures.
Yeah. And so I think, and not only did I appreciate, the Muslim stuff in it, it feels like I'm not informed enough to know, but it feels like they're being respectful to this religion and culture.
Depends on who you ask.
Depends on who you ask. It's like I said, to me, it feels that way.
Like
I don't
how
know.
you said it was a diet superhero show. I think their
It's
respect
probably
is also diet.
Diet is Islam.
Well, an Islamic diet is halal.
I mean, what annoys me again, so this is some of my annoyances with the show, is that I wish they could show some, even this level of respect, even if it's a diet, representation of it, but this level of respect to Christian households and Christianity and religion and other things like that. It really feels like that they are tiptoeing on eggshells to not offend, a certain religious group.
More like tiptoeing on IEDs.
Around IEDs?
Yeah.
To not offend, people because... there's a bias to respect Muslim religion over Christian religion in the mainstream these days. That's just how it is.
Eastern religion over Western religion.
Yeah, and look, I'm glad at least they're showing some respect to some religion, but how about you be consistent and show that respect to all, even if they're not being fully respectful, at least, yeah.
That's the thing, though. It depends on who you ask entirely of whether they're being respectful.
It
or
is
not.
true. That is true,
Yeah.
and I'm
We don't
too
know.
uninformed to be able to comment on that. But what I can say is,
It looks like they're trying, though.
they are putting in way more effort and consideration to certain elements of this show in terms of consistency, progression, trying to make a more rounded character in this show than any other Disney show on Disney Plus I've seen so far. Like, this is... I don't think it's particularly great. I did like this episode. I would call this episode good. But in terms of just broad things, the writing in this is way better than Kenobi. Kenobi was just utter garbage. Every
What's
single thing
Kenobi?
every single thing didn't make sense
I
in
don't
Kenobi.
even know what you're talking about. I've never
Yes.
heard of Kenobi
It made no
before.
sense, right? Like, all that desert and no Muslims. There was a camel.
Ish. Camel-ish.
We don't know that was a
sort of
So
camel.
Arch calls that the penis animal or something like that.
Well, she called it Ish. We don't know that's what he named the camel.
Camel-ish.
Kamalish? Kamala Khan.
So yeah, they're actually trying a lot harder, and it's because they're desperate for this to be the flagship, Marvel property, because it's diverse character, it's a female, it's for girls and all that stuff, and all they're doing is disenfranchising the primary comic book fan base because it's not made for them, and so of course they're not going to watch. And it's interesting to see even these Miss Marvel reviews are getting viewed less from our own audience because fewer people are even interested in it, even though it is actually a more objectively better show than Kenobi and crap. But it's because, why don't you give stuff what we want? Give justice, put effort into the things that we actually want to watch, instead of, even if someone gave...
Or effort into everything.
Yeah, like when you order spaghetti and someone brings a really well-made shepherd's pie, I don't care how much effort you put into the shepherd's pie, I ordered spaghetti. Where's my spaghetti? That's my spaghetti bolognese analogy.
That's why you should go to an Italian restaurant, not an Irish one.
Even you go to the Italian restaurant, because that's like if you go to the Marvel restaurant, the superhero, one of the flagship superhero companies, you generally expect a
Wouldn't
superhero
mind
show.
going to an Irish restaurant.
Oh, hee hee hee. And I just wait for me.
I do have a big issue with one of the lines in here, and to me this is like it felt out of place just for even the tone of the show, because the overall show doesn't reflect this tone, and it felt forcefully injected into it as a political statement to try and do woke agenda stuff. And it's when they're talking about the superhero Nightlight who appeared around the mosque, and Kamala actually says...
She's talking to a religious leader.
Yeah, and she says, I was excited, or something, to have a superhero that would actually fight for us. And wow, I find that to be one of the most disrespectful statements you could ever imagine for the sacrifices that so many heroes have done in that universe to save your life. You're saying they didn't? You think Tony Stark, when he killed himself, wasn't fighting for you?
To be fair, he did build the drones that Obama used.
But he repented of that and
Yes.
changed his ways.
In the show, though, we haven't seen any indication of them needing someone to fight for them.
Yeah, they don't want to show any prejudice against Islam, and so it seems like this is a very accepted kind of,
And it's
group
about,
of, Islamic people
Yeah.
living in the US.
And it's about Kamala, not about the people.
Yeah, and it goes into that...
It's just a backdrop for her story.
And so it felt really out of place. And so does Kamala think that her idol, Captain Marvel, didn't fight for her? And
She's white.
And does she feel that...
That's a good point.
Well,
She's not Muslim.
Yeah, and does she think that just because the superhero is going to be the same colour as her, that makes them better? Because that's an inherently racist attitude as well.
I'm sure anyone would be happy to see something that represents them in something, but in terms of fighting for...
Heroes
I don't
fight for
see
everyone.
how, heroes fighting for everyone.
Well, it's interesting because I understand that. Like,
Yeah.
whenever I hear that someone who I respect or admire, hey, is the same member of the same faith as me, they're a Latter-day Saint, I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
You do get kind of an appreciation because there's some type of... you feel a closer connection based on either shared values
Yeah.
or you might be able to relate to them more.
But that's
and
wholly
stuff.
different to no one fights for us.
And also, Islam is the biggest religion in the world. So when Iron Man did the snap, he saved more Islamic people than any other religion. So there you go. Mathematically, if it's the biggest religion on the planet, and they're all brought back...
Oh, yes, brought them back, yes. Well, yeah, like,
Sorry, do you think there's some Islamic people just get ripped out of paradise and they're pissed now? Jihad against the Avengers!
Did they die, though? Or did they just disappear out of existence?
No, they went to where their paradise is.
I don't know. It's not.
I'm not going to question it.
Marvel does not state on what happened to the snapped people.
Yeah.
So again, that was forced. It was out of place, and I wanted to cover that. Look, minor criticism, but I mean, there's this superhero called Nightlight that saved a person. Everyone has video footage of it, and it's like, okay, it's a girl. You can, ballpark her height. You can see her figure pretty easily. You can see her hair. It wouldn't be too hard to try and, figure out, wonder who that is. That's
a good superhero name.
But Oz put on some glasses the other day and we proved the Clark Kent thing.
Did we?
It looked completely different.
Yeah. It was
I wouldn't have recognised him
freaky.
walking
So-
down the street.
This is the thing, the Clark Kent thing actually does apply in certain situations. So the actress who plays the Dragon Queen in Game of Thrones, right? I think she's a natural
Emilia
brunette.
Clarke?
Yeah, Emilia Clarke. People barely recognise her.
I do.
And so she was telling a story that sometimes she's walking down with the kid, one of the other...
Harington?
Yeah, and people come up to him and say, oh, it's good, you could get... Oh, and they go to her, it's like, could you get a photo with us? And she's like, yeah, sure. And it's actually... It was harder to recognise her when she had a different hair colour. I was like, I'm sorry, she doesn't have a recognisable face.
Do you think Kit Harington walks around with a stepladder everywhere he goes, just so he can get into those photos?
I didn't know he was that short.
He's very short.
Is he? So yeah, it does apply. But in this instance, she's... I think just general
Have we had close-up
cues...
shots of her on film, though?
So, well,
They've seemed to be far away so far.
yeah, she's particularly short, so she'll stand out from a crowd for being short, and she has
Actually, I find when you're short, you blend into the crowd a bit more.
really to me, average height, you blend into the crowd. Oh yes, it's harder to see you. I get it.
She walked across someone's lawn and I couldn't see her through the grass.
Someone was looking for me one time. This is a real thing that happened.
What,
Someone
the
was
other
looking for
Smurfs?
me, and he walked past. I was like, "Oi, what'd you do?" And he turns around. I was like, "I was looking for you." He looked right over my head.
Who was looking for you? The other hobbits?
No, he wasn't a hobbit because he looked over my head.
I get that. Some people are not as recognisable. Some a small thing. This is why I love the Chris Reeve Superman, because I could believe the Clark Kent Superman trans. Like he changed his posture, the way every movement between Clark
And
Kent
you
and
wouldn't
Superman.
expect your coworker to be Superman.
He's changed his posture now.
He's dead.
Oh, I thought it was just crippled.
He's passed away.
Oh, well, he's unrecognisable now. He's a lot skinnier.
Oh gosh.
That's a low bar, man.
Anyway, I don't know. I just don't buy it for her. I think, if you were familiar, and these are people who are familiar with Kamala quite personally, and
Yeah.
if you saw her, just like, who's that young girl in the Captain Marvel outfit with long black hair? Kamala, what are you doing? I would instantly like, is that Kamala? Anyway, but so we just got to kind of accept that.
Superhero logic.
Yep. And look, how about we go scene by scene now, because then we'll just come up to my my thoughts as we go. There it is.
Oh, this part annoyed me. The British are coming. They're setting things on fire and destroying stuff.
Seemed a bit like I was wondering, why are the British interested in this ruin? They didn't explain anything. It's just oppressive British because British.
Yeah, the British didn't destroy Egypt. It was an Arabian prince that wanted to destroy the pyramids.
Look, I don't know enough about this part of history to comment too much on it, but in terms of they're looking for an artifact, there's no context given why they're being chased, why it's going on. I don't mind them exploring some of the world building of this. In actual fact, I felt it was necessary to try and explain some of the things. We'll see how satisfying it is and how consistent they'll be, because there are still additional questions, but they've tried to address a decent amount. One thing I noticed quite clearly here, there's a shot from above. I'm not sure if they'll do it here. No, it's when they were digging it out. So, symbol of the Ten Rings organization. So they're making a connection between the Bengal and Shang-Chi, or the Origin. They might have a shared connection. And look, honestly, that does make sense in terms of having jewellery with engravings that grants powers. Connection, sure.
Tolkien did it.
Yeah, as to the relationship between who we find out these people to be, we'll see. Because it's revealed later on that these individuals who are searching for this bangle are from another dimension. Okay, consistent with Marvel world building, they have all other dimensions. They don't explain under what conditions, like is it just another place like, the dimensions in Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, or is that I don't know. It seemed like another dimension in the way of Doctor Strange early ones, where it's like, the Dark Dimension, like a completely different laws of physics and everything like that.
I don't remember. Were they running away from something, or were they kicked out?
They said exiled.
So
Exiled,
when
okay.
Bruno is looking at the documents and the father translates for him, he shares a story. Very convenient that they found one so specific. But anyway, that there were jinn that were cast out, exiled.
Okay, yep.
Yep. And as to why they need this spangle to help them get back, and they can punch a hole through reality, no explanation given.
Superhero logic.
I'll try and steelman it, okay? They have access to a type of energy, a light power of some kind, being jinn, but being in another dimension, they cannot access it. It's blocked off for them. But if they conceive a child who was born into this dimension and shares some of the human genetics and being of this dimension, that opens up the block and they can access the power better, which is why only Kamala can use the bracelet and not anyone else, not the other jinn. Okay.
And her grandmother.
Yeah, so anyone who was born
in this dimension.
anyone who was born by one of these jinn,
Yeah.
I can accept that.
Yeah.
But hang on, no, the one of the people in this scene puts on the thing and
Her
it glows.
My
grandmother.
grandmother.
Aisha. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Aisha?
thought Aisha was a jinn. But she mustn't be. She must be a daughter of one of these people.
Yeah.
But
must
this
be.
scene, it seemed like this scene was establishing that she was one of them. So if that's the case, that's a blatant contradiction. Suddenly they're getting attacked because reasons, we don't know why, as to did they find it easy enough. These are look, they are criticisms, they're not world-breaking like Kenobi problems, but they are like, they found it conveniently, they said other people looted it, why didn't they find it? It's on this weird blue hand, okay, and unexplained. Then they're under attack and they decide something which I didn't really understand why. They decide to separate. You go that way and I go this way. And I was like, okay, why? Is it better chances of surviving if this is like some type of rule? And you'd think they'd have one primary entrance. But they decided to separate, and because of that, they never found each other because of the thing.
What did they say exactly?
Did
they just say, okay, see ya, and then just walk away from each other?
No, well, someone's attacking the ruin, and from memory, it's like, we better separate so they don't have a chance to find us. Something like that. And then they run separate ways, and I was like, there's probably only one entrance to the thing. Why are you separated? Just, I don't know, a contrivance in the plot to justify the fact that the other Jinn didn't find the wrist thing again until Kamala puts it on or something. Questions then, because if the grandmother put it on and used powers, why didn't they sense the grandmother using it and other things? Questions. But this is the setup. I don't mind that, again, they're explaining world building. As to them being Jinn, yeah, interesting. There's something you could work with there.
They're not diverse enough, though.
You reckon?
They need an Asian person.
I mean, I do have questions. If they literally from another dimension, they seem to be conforming under like is everyone diverse from the Jinn dimension, or do they get to pick their appearance when they come into the human dimension? I was expecting Kamala to have a lot of questions. Granted, she does end up asking something like, all right, what does it mean you're from another dimension? And then she doesn't forget about the drones that were chasing her, and so...
No Muslim would forget that.
Okay, sure. Is this next... so there's a bit of potential inconsistency here.
Yeah.
We find out, obviously, spoilers, if you're not... You should be figured that out already, that these people are actually far more aggressive in making sure they can get what they want. Basically, they're asking for Kamala's help because she can use the wrist thing to open up a portal to another dimension. Okay.
Can't the other kid use the wrist thing, or does it attune to the person?
He should be able to use it too, by their logic, unless you're right, unless there's an unexplained thing that it permanently attunes itself to the person
until they die.
But what's interesting, they even kind of say if he gave it to him, it should unlock his powers. And they're kind of setting up that it's unlocking her access to the Jinn energy.
That's what they say,
take away the wrist thing. And
how Bruno says, it's coming from within.
It's coming from within, and that was still a leap that
somehow
he
managed to figure that out, whatever.
Yeah. They're setting up that take away the wrist thing and she's going to have the powers permanently and she's not going to be reliant on it. And so the wrist thing just unlocks access to extra dimensional energy, perhaps. Look, I'm doing too much for them, but these are the questions that are like, is this fully explained?
I have a question, and yes, I'm doing the thing the Muslims do when they're not happy.
Okay.
They plan to just take it from her. We're not asking anymore. You have her alone right there.
I know. This is my question. Where's the consistency? If they're willing to go to such extreme measures to violence, it's inconsistent with how they're behaving now. And it's also pretty dumb because what triggers them is the text where she says, it might be dangerous. I might need time to think about it. That's actually not unreasonable. But no, we don't have to, they don't explain why they're on such a tight thing. They say, we can't wait. Why? Are you
They've been waiting for, what?
50 years?
40 years?
Yeah, they do not explain why they're suddenly, we need to do it now. So yeah, the flip is not well set up enough. They should have justified what triggers them to go
Maybe
berserk.
if they were too forceful in this, and it gives Kamala... That gives her reason to start thinking, hang on, this feels sus.
Yeah.
And then maybe she says, maybe not, and then they become more aggressive.
Yeah. I will say, I like that the antagonists who are properly appearing in this show are integrated in a more, not saying it's perfectly seamless, but a more seamless way in relation to the superpowers, that there should be larger ramifications of where do these powers come from? Are there any relations and causes and people interested? And yes, there are. And it turns out these people have different, interests. And what should really happen, right? I think, Kamala wants to wait, and then they're like, instead of going berserk, they're more insistent in everything. And if someone maybe lets slip that we have to do it, and Kamala says, but the energy required to do it, which is, again, Bruno, you are a genius just figuring this out. It's like, energy required to go through universes might destroy the world.
Well,
They might have this kind of evidence.
Well, he was working
in
off
the
someone
universe.
else's stuff.
to be fair, he was looking. It seemed like he was looking at wormhole theory stuff like that.
And granted, like there are precedents in terms of the amount of energy you would need to do an cubular warp drive. I don't pronounce it right. To warp space enough to actually reach superluminal levels is like more power that you need. More exotic matter than like the observable universe.
And at
kind
this
of stuff.
point in the MCU, I'm sure there's plenty of research done on this kind of stuff.
So I think I can grant it that. And then she would be justified saying, this is some really dangerous stuff. Also, are you telling me I can access this level of power with this thing? Holy crap, that should freak her out and make her not want to do it. And then they could say, if they let slip, we need it, it's important, our world is more important. And then they might have said, it doesn't matter what happens to this world. And then that's like, hang on, what did you
that
say?
could also maybe lead into, this is dangerous, why don't you just take this and use it to get home? And then they can say, only you can use it. And then we'd have
you know what I would
reason
love
for-
then? This would have been really great. She takes off, tries to give it back, but now the powers are manifested and she can't get rid of them. And she's afraid of them because of the crazy level that they could reach.
Yep.
There's a good arc, Cursed
Saw
with
with his hammer.
powers. Yeah, exactly. And she has to learn responsibility to deal with these astronomical level powers. All good arcs that they're not really exploring. There's missed opportunity, and so it just goes to show you this show could actually be vastly better than what it is, even though I wouldn't call it terrible. So
I enjoy it. I mean,
there are parts of
we're
me
bringing
too.
up criticisms, but I still enjoyed
Yeah,
watching
they
it.
are.
I'd give it 9 out of 11.
I don't. What's the joke?
I'd give it 9 out of 11.
Oh, my brain isn't working. You need to explain it to me?
9 out of
numbers
11.
Together.
9/11.
The penny dropped.
Whoa, Shad dropped. Come on now, like, you don't need to talk about the towers.
We love all our Muslim viewers. Thank you
Absolutely.
for watching us. Please
Thank you for-
tolerate Oz.
Thank you for only watching us and not resorting to any other measures.
Quickly, what's something we make fun of Christianity? The Inquisition bad. No one expects the Inquisition there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the modern Inquisition now is the feds. And the Muslims do expect them every time they go out their door.
Okay. Yes, Christians do have done bad things in the past. We condemn and make fun of same thing. All right.
Christians.
I'm trying to think of one of the more ridiculous ones.
You have more than one wife.
Damn right. Well, hey, careful. Don't say that to the Muslims.
Yeah, as we were mentioning, background stuff. Kamala seems to be taking it in stride, but then again, freaky things have been happening. So yeah, like the performance is done well.
She's
And
wearing the
she's
Miss Marvel
saying
pants.
how, first this happened, that happened.
Go back one. She's wearing the Miss Marvel pants.
Yeah, because
She hasn't had a chance
remember,
to
this is
change
where
yet.
she picked up in the car when she hit the drones and straight back to their place. They're immortal and things, and like I said, I would have liked a bit more clarity, but
I liked how they were all explaining themselves, and they go, "Oh, but it's okay. This kid's actually 17."
yeah, she's like, oh, thank goodness.
No Twilight situation here, people.
So odd thing. I feel they actually paid respect, didn't disrespect that guy's character. Neither Bruno. Bruno actually wasn't cucked in this episode. There was a moment where he come to Kamala's assistance. He doesn't have powers. He gets beaten down, but at least he tried. And
I mean, there was that moment.
You know when Bruno threw the present at them? It'd be funny if it exploded. All of the presents did. That'd be funny.
You make yourself laugh, don't you?
Yep. Sometimes you just got to do it yourself.
Stopping right there.
So many
So,
things.
But no, like I thought they were, always like Bruno would have no assertiveness and everything like that. He actually asserts himself a bit in this episode. It's like, hey, I got accepted to MIT. All right, this is the deal, but I don't want to leave before. And he's concerned for a friend.
I'll help you out, but I'm still going.
And all right. He's like my favourite character so far in this. I think I'm rooting for you, Bruno. Come on.
Because you identify with him as a white male. Oh, why do I sound like this?
I would identify with the guy more with the girl anyway. It doesn't matter if they're colour, skin, or anything like that. And he's a more nerdy guy. I identify more with the nerdy guy as well and stuff. And so anyway, asking questions and background stuff like we mentioned. So, straight to Bruno, and I think the conversation flowed naturally enough in this scene. He's worried about you. Why didn't you email me or message me, apart from I'm alive and stuff? And she's a bit shell-shocked. I'm a djinn, and plays it well. Like, it's a good delivery.
Nightlight isn't a bad superhero name.
I don't think it was terrible.
And if he's the sidekick, he could be Light Knight. Because he's white.
I mean, but please do explain that more.
So, light denotes to...
I mean, if someone was calling me Nightlight, I'd be like, surely there's
That's your
something
new
better.
nickname.
Nightlight.
So, basic conversation. I'm a djinn. You need to study djinn for me while I deal with other things. And she's a bit worried about the whole situation. I'm not sure to what level either it's justified, because it gets to a point where she says something to her mum that, have you ever wished for something your whole life and when it finally comes, it's not what you expected, or I don't. Again, this is where it's very superhero diet for me, where... Look, you haven't had your uncle die on you. You haven't had your family threatened by a horrible villain. It's just like, this is,
Yet.
She almost dropped a kid.
She, like, that, I reckon, yes.
I was dropped and I was fine. Enough.
But there are things to make her concerned. Shadowy government organisation after you. Ancestors are djinn. I might be some extra-dimensional half-breed. I might actually. Things to be concerned, but it's just not to the level that like heavy gear superhero shows have done before. It's just like
I think that was the most accurate cultural representation that they did, and the fact that the feds are interested in these people for some reason.
So. This scene, okay.
The show is very slice of life in general. It's very toned down.
It is.
In terms of drama.
Exactly. They haven't gone, like I said, the drama in her life isn't crazy. It's like, in regards to what can superheroes really have to deal with to make them question, holy crap, this is not what I was really expecting and I'm thinking of giving it all up. She has nothing on what other superheroes have actually dealt with, but there's enough to justify it. I will grant it that.
I mean, they could keep upping the ante as the show goes on. We don't know.
We'll see. This scene, I don't know, they're not
They're
feds.
so campy.
Well, they are feds.
Just they're the people who monitor enhanced individuals that appear, essentially. They come into the mosque. So I don't mind the fact that this scene happened, where it's a logical extrapolation. Oh, superhero appeared near the mosque. We need to find out if there's a relationship here. So you'd have a scene confrontation. What annoys me is that, once again, the head leader guy of the mosque, he can't handle it himself. Smarter person needs to come in and solve the issue for him. And it's just trying to, again, inject the friend and make her so smart and clever when...
But I like the
but
joke
she
they made where she's like, come on the board. And the guy's like, we're still counting the votes.
I think... What was I going to say?
I do not...
It doesn't seem like it was a smarter decision, though, because she's told them, get lost, you need a warrant, which creates more suspicion. When the other guy was like, yeah, go ahead and look. Which is...
I'm with the guy here. This is a sacred building. If the feds, say, came into a Latter-day Saint temple and expected to get access everywhere around it, we'll be like, whoa, no, yeah.
Well, it did tell her to take
better
her
have
shoes off next time.
Yeah.
To be fair, Mormons are very well represented in agencies like that, so we'd have a temple-worthy one of ours just come in.
Maybe.
I'm not kidding, though, it is. Burn After Reading, you seen that one?
Sorry, what?
Burn After Reading?
No.
They bring this guy and they're like, oh, we're firing you because you have a drinking problem. And the guy's like, you're a Mormon. Next to you, we all have a drinking problem.
Well, that's the way they could have done. They could have sent in a Muslim member of their organisation.
I changed my mind. I agree with you. Tell them to leave, but she did it too aggressively.
You said it wrong. I will.
I can see. Yeah. Now that you made the connection to our temple, I agree. But she did it very aggressively. She could have just been like, "This is a sacred space."
Yeah.
And then the dude says, "And take your shoes off next time."
Yeah, and it was very much of the tone of.
It was you can't be here. Get out.
But also, older man can't handle this. He's not smart enough. Here's smart female come in to solve his problem for him.
Here's Ilad and Omar.
And it would be funny if the guy just said, hey, I'm the imam or whoever, or what the position is.
Yeah.
Let me deal with this. Get in your place.
It'd be funny if he's like, I will get rid of the woman who is annoying you. You will get rid of the woman who is annoying me.
Jokes aside, that could have been a learning experience for her saying, just a second here, we don't have to be so aggressive in the way we talk to these people.
Yeah.
We can still be respectful and let them know that they can't just waltz in here.
But it was very much a scene to prop her up. And I felt somewhat at the expense of the guy. He was, just... Yeah.
You don't want to annoy agencies.
And look, I don't mind the Law and Order. He was like, oh, you just like, no, I learned from Law and Order. So, yes,
but I'm not wrong.
Yes, that's true.
That's not the federal government agency, though. They can put
it's
Homeland
true.
Security on you.
Yeah, I was actually expecting him to do that. It's like, we're not the feds. We are a different branch or something like that, and just ignore it.
And then they pull a discrimination card.
Was that on?
Huh?
Or was it because she was at the mosque?
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's like, is it because she's brown and Muslim or because she's at the mosque? Yeah.
It's like, I'll be like, a superpowered individual just been jumping on top of your mosque and you're confused why we're here asking questions? Shut up!
Well, what do they do when they're looking for a suspect? They describe what they look like.
Yeah, and go to the scene.
Make assumptions
Something
to deduct.
Exactly. Something like that happened at an LDS temple. I wouldn't be like, are you here because they're just Mormons? It's like, I'd be, someone swinging off the Statue of Moroni was a bit of a,
Mormon Spider-Man.
Okay, so I'm trying to remember this scene. Oh, that's right. She's watching video clips of her doing the saving thing, and showing legitimate concern about, am I in too deep? Again, it's justified, not as far as it could have gone, to make it more impactful. Friend comes, expresses the problem that's at the mosque, which makes Carmela not reveal who she is.
She said something contentious here that I remember, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, yeah, that's right. They want us to make it good Muslim versus bad Muslim, like we want to surveil our own people. Wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah, but you want to present good Muslims?
Yeah, because you know who's killed, who Muslims have killed more of than any other people?
Who?
Their own people. Just different sects and stuff like that. So, yeah, you'd want to get the bad ones out.
Yeah, that's true. And I could see that. It's weird, though. It's like that she's concerned that this could vilify her Islamic community. And it's like, there's a superhero saving her. Like, and you don't even know if she's really Muslim. She was just at a mosque.
But what would vindicate that Islamic community more than being like, hey, here's a bad one?
Or here's a superhero one,
Well, maybe not the superhero one, because they're doing good stuff, but a bad one, yeah. Like, because if it's a superhero, you want to keep them on the, wouldn't you?
As in not reveal their identity.
Yeah, but a bad one, be like, yes, it's this guy. He.
Yes, we do not. If they were actually doing bad things.
We do not condone this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
the
friend is acting like, this person that saved someone's life is a problem. And it's like, you're over dramatizing it to try and pull off the scene. But of course, Carmela shouldn't be flat. If she's, thinking of doing superhero stuff, she shouldn't be telling everyone.
To be fair as well, nowadays, you defend yourself and it gets caught on video and goes viral, you're in trouble with the feds.
Seems like that. So this is interesting. There's one part I'd like, and also I dislike the, it'd be good to have a superhero actually fight first line. But then he says, you are not good. Good is not something you are. Good is something you do. Oh, Yes, good classic superhero line. It's diet superhero. It's not impactful. It's just kind of, and she's lightly, so it's there. I'm happy it's there. It's just not.
I did like how she was getting advice from a religious leader.
I do like that as well.
That was a nice touch.
See, this is again an example of the respect that they're trying to. It seems like they're going away to show respect to a religion. It's like, do that all the time. I'm annoyed that
No, they just do it to the scary ones. The ones who will actually make a fuss.
Well.
Yeah. Well, in communities like this, same with our own, religious leaders should be people you can trust and turn to for advice. So I liked that added in.
Agree. Okay, so they kind of continue the drama. This is the scene where Bruno's doing the research, the dad comes in, and the dad translates it, and luckily finds a very convenient passage that's related.
The first page he picked up and started reading?
Yep. As to, these are print-offs that you got off online. Well, yeah, information is pretty accessible these days, so yeah, maybe. But
maybe he looked up Jin's story from another dimension.
Maybe. It fits quite nice. Hey, he's got an Iron Man shirt. Good on you, Bruno. So this is where he tells him about the extra-dimensional things, that you need the power of the sun to crack through different dimensions. There is some just leaps of logic here, because he's reading a paper. This is a theory. This is hypothetically how you would travel through different dimensions. You have no idea how this thing works. This thing could be just like, press button, dimension door opens, or whatever. Like, they literally had America Chavez, who has a dimension-hopping power, and it didn't destroy universes. And they're just kind of assuming that it's dangerous, even though this thing could be built to do it.
To be fair, I don't know if it fits, but he talked about how there was a paper by Eric Zellwig about it, and he actually made portals, that dude.
Yeah,
Got the Chitauri.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe it fits, I don't know.
I don't mind this line. I mean, he's over-technical, so...
Yeah, but then he goes,
but it's so
big power
overdone.
might go boom.
She asked for it! I say, good on him for condescending to someone who's not putting in the effort to understand technical speak.
Yeah.
You'd think she'd be
She
used to
is
boom.
his social life, though.
I know, yeah.
It's just, I find it annoying when people do that in shows. This time in English, please.
I know, it actually, it seems like they think the audience isn't smart enough to understand it either.
It'd be the pot calling the kettle black if she says, in English, please.
I didn't even say that.
She hears Shad's
I was
reaction.
waiting for that.
The discomfort's like, It's like Voldemort and Harry's parents.
Let me spit take.
She's a born American, and there's much familiarity with the English language.
a born
What she said
American
was
Jew.
very offensive.
So they do.
I don't know why I'm talking like an aristocratic Britishman.
It's more like Marlon Brando.
Something like that. Make him an offer, I will refuse.
Can that guy breathe?
Give me a Kleenex. I made fun of that in Robin Hood, for instance. I Men in Tides. Oh, sorry, what did I say? I'm sorry, I just went to the dentist.
What a thing to be a prince of. The Prince of Men in Tides.
I love it. Yeah. Going to MIT.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, okay,
this was
here we go.
interesting. Did you have a reaction to this one?
Carol Danvers didn't wait. What happened to the whole, need someone fighting for us? Carol Danvers is white.
But also, they acknowledge that Carol Danvers isn't responsible. It's like, she would... There's a line that Bruno says, something like, they called her reckless. And that's one way to call Captain Marvel. She's a lot more than that. She's also mean, cruel, destructive, violent, and everything. But it's like, oh, she have a reputation for being reckless. Okay, well, there's something there.
It'd be funny if, as an Easter egg, they're going through the city and you see a homeless guy with a leather jacket and a broken hand. He wasn't the same after he lost it all that day.
The Don has a long legacy of redemption that he worked... if you look up the Don, you might be able to find some nuggets of internet lore there.
In his pastimes, he built children's hospitals. That poor man.
He was just trying to spread happiness by encouraging people to smile.
Yep. He gave rides to people that needed them.
Yeah. Got his hand broken and motorbike stolen. Just
had a cool leather jacket. That
remember the Don.
Never forget.
These are his stories. Don Don.
I haven't heard that one before. That's great. And I've heard so many Don memes from the EFAP crew, you wouldn't believe. And that's new.
Don the Cape.
Okay. And yeah, so this was like, the reality isn't as great as you imagined it. And it's like, again, diet superhero. You got nothing on what Peter Parker was smacked forward with the superhero gig. And at least it's something, you know.
You don't know pain.
Yeah, exactly. You scraped your knee. Wait until you accidentally, inadvertently cause the events that lead your father figure to get murdered.
To be fair, she did get chased by drones. That's a traumatic event for any Muslim.
This is true. Maybe we should be like,
Can we have a count on how many times
I know,
Oz
you keep bringing it up.
drones and how traumatic it is for them?
oh my goodness. So
I think that's one part I like the most of the show is the family values they were sharing.
Yes.
Like later down the line when the dad's talking to his son.
yes.
I like that. I was like, wow. Media doesn't hate traditional families.
I know. Why can't we see
The
that
right
in...
ones.
Yeah, of course.
Claudia, that's offensive. They don't have to be the white ones. Be the brown ones and anything.
Yeah, this is the conversation that sets them off and decides for the Jinn people to go crazy violent. And it's like, want to help, could be dangerous, need more time. Still, like, they did not justify the flip from that to justify the crazy. It's like, again, like, we're all going to die unless we get back to our dimension now. It's like, we'll give you 50 years, but again, doesn't make... still, you need something, because that is not unreasonable. It's not like she's saying, I'll never help you, the power's mine, you're all evil and bad.
Need more time.
Yeah. Okay, so this is that scene you're talking about. As to how deep is it really, he says, you know, there's one choice that every man must make, and that is choose between fear and love. It's like, to me, there's actually not too much, like, true, wisdom in that. It's very surface level wisdom stuff. Okay, and of course there are other. So it's good. It's not great. And I appreciate that they are promoting that it's a good thing and a brave thing to take the step to build a family. That's a great message. But the between fear and love.
If they're building up a lot because with the mum as well. Like Camilla asked, what did you do when you came here and had no support? She's like, I went to the mosque. I had a family. They were my support for everything. And with this scene here, I think this is her kind of pondering, okay, should I tell them all what's going on? And then obviously at the end of the show, this episode, she doesn't say it.
And I'm glad she didn't. To me, that was a small moment of self-sacrifice on her behalf. Again, it wasn't big, but at least it was there. There are actual traditional superhero beats in this story, which I did appreciate. They're just nowhere near the level that I really like and what I feel the best of the superhero genre has produced by a long shot. Not even close. That is, I can recognize it. Hey, it's some superhero beats.
It's still watchable, yeah.
Yeah, I did enjoy it. It's got nothing on real superhero stuff.
I have a feeling if we de-age you like 10 years, go back to that guy, that's you as a Muslim if we de-age you by like 7 or 10 years.
I don't know. His beard is so thick and luxurious. I could never get a beard that thick. That is an epic beard.
If you eat enough hummus, you could do anything. Not to be confused.
My beard just gets scraggly and wiry the more I grow it. Like, this is under control. I need to keep it there.
That's why he's a Muslim, you.
Okay, so yes, Kamala hears it. And still, look, choosing faith. Promoting faith. I was like, oh, really? But of course, it's only the faith that they're okay with. We get the marriage scene. This is all proper context, I feel, for setting up how her superpowers are going to impact everything here. It was an interesting cultural moment. They yelled Allahu Akbar. I'm probably mispronounced that too as well.
If I'm walking through Jersey City and I walk past a building and I hear that scream, I'm running.
There's that scene. So then the Jinn lady, aunt, whatever. And so at first I thought that lady, right, was the grandma.
So did I.
But now it's not. And so that means the grandson, they're not related.
Yes.
They're allowed to like each other now.
And he's
17.
And he's only 17. He's not immortal.
He's not 18 yet.
He's not some immortal 500-year-old like
He
the rest
might be
of them.
immortal, but he's only 17 now.
I think the actor's obviously older. Same with the actress playing
The
Kamala.
actor is 23,
Yeah.
and Kamala is 19.
Yeah. They did in Twilight. How old is she? How old was Bella?
She was 17, he was 109.
Yes.
But he's young at heart. He's been going to high school for so long.
He must be getting like straight A's. Otherwise, he's retarded. Oh, sorry. Otherwise, he's stupid.
Then she finds the text messages. They snap. Back to the wedding scene. So, look, I didn't need the dancing, but they're wanting, I don't know, culture, fun, celebration. Got nothing out of that.
We get step up, they get that.
I don't want Step Up.
Look,
What, your Magic Mike? That would be happy with?
it had the potential to be way more cringe than what it was. I did find it somewhat cringe. It could have been a lot worse.
Did it-
I'll
did it-
say that on that.
Didn't, what's it called? Not the Invincibles. What were they called again? The woke superhero movie? With
Oh,
the
the
Eternals.
Eternals?
The Eternals. Didn't they have a Bollywood scene?
Yeah, because one of the
On set, they were on set.
Yeah, he's a Bollywood
the
actor.
actor, he becomes a Bollywood actor,
Slash
and they had
director?
slash director, and I didn't even
So yes,
finish
I
that.
think they did.
That's what
have
I'd do if I was
Bollywood
a superhero powers. I'd just use it to enrich myself.
I was right. I thought they were going to go full choreographed Bollywood dance kind of thing, and I thought that would have just been so cringe.
I was hoping they were going to do it.
Really?
Yeah, I was kind of a bit bored at this point. I thought, all right, impress me. Like, do a full Bollywood choreographed scene. I'll be like, all right, you did good. But instead it was just very
Well, to
generic.
me, that would have been out of
Western.
character. Even here, I think she's being too confident with how reserved and shy she's usually behaving.
It would have been out of culture too. That's India, not Bangladesh. We would never ever draw a comparison between India and Bangladesh and Pakistan.
Yes.
They're completely separate.
We would never do that.
To be fair, I think there are some shy people who come out when they do these sorts of things.
Maybe, yeah.
No one in the Muslim community comes out. Then,
Can we zoom in on Nathan's face palm when we
Then
edit
they-
the video?
then they'd really need Miss Marvel to stop him from falling off the building.
Stop throwing gay people off buildings, okay? It's not good. We Christians stopped that a long time ago.
Now we just shock him. Yeah.
Though, in fairness, it was stoning, but we stopped it. That's the point.
This part.
Brown Jovi.
This part.
Why can they get away with those jokes and other people can't?
Yeah. But this part, they said, we're Brown Jovi, we play at da-da-da-da-da and bar mitzvahs.
Yeah, 16s.
I'm thinking, the last thing I, as a Jewish person, would want is Muslims to be at my wedding. What are they doing, casing for targets?
Bar mitzvahs.
I say if a Jewish person wants a Muslim band, play good old power to them, okay?
Yeah, that'd be a thrilling wedding. And then the Muslim band starts playing, I'm on a highway to hell. I played Tick Tick Boom.
Goodness gracious, great balls of fire.
Hit me with your best shot. Fire away. There's got to be another one. Come on, Claudia, your turn.
The Jewish people start singing, staying alive, staying alive.
Oh man, under pressure.
Oh,
Oh man.
It's jokes, people. Okay.
Oh,
We
man.
love you all.
I'm done.
Okay, so teenage, look, yeah, he's warning her. He's trying to protect her. Good on him. Bruno, takes her away from Bruno, but then Bruno comes back saying, "What's going on?" And this is an awkward situation. People again, I'm not sold on that they just flip to be so violent, but it's like, okay, now violent people coming. He's saying they'll kill everyone. It's like, oh crap. What do I do? Need to get him out? Fire alarm. I think that worked fine. And she even says sometimes the classics work.
Would have been a
And it
stereotype.
took Oh, sorry.
It would have been a stereotype if she called it a bomb threat. If we ever do get attacked by them, I'm target number 1. You guys can get out.
Okay.
I'm not gonna finish that.
Everyone get behind me.
Yeah.
I know you can.
So everyone's escaping. She's trying to escape. They look to be like a this guy here looks to be some government guy from the organization, and then one of the Jinn people just bash him up, and so he's gone. It was that guy. This leads into probably the largest action moment in the whole show. Holy crap, it took us ages to get here. I mean, if they cut out a lot of the pointless stuff, especially in episode 2, and condensed it, it would be much better. It would still be diet superhero stuff, because they don't...
Just cut all the fluff.
Yeah, cut the fluff, get to the action. That's what we're interested in. But they actually do some things that surprised me that they had the consideration to do. They made her struggle. She could barely use her powers. She was afraid to fight because she hasn't fought before. She's just striving to stay alive. And she's too scared to even fight back. And what they're showing is an appropriate level of use of her powers to what she's trained with. She's not great with them yet. And they didn't have her just kick butt. And the only time that pushes her to fight back is to protect her friend. These are great superhero beats. It's a good progression of powers, and it's all consistent, and it worked really well. This is probably my favourite part in the show. They didn't jump the shark and make her suddenly kick butt. Everyone wiped the floor. There was a moment of suspense, because they were showing her actually fail and struggle. And then at the very end, she doesn't even defeat them. She gets bailed out because the government come in, and they did set up the government already on their way because there was a government guy there, and they probably are monitoring the police chat. And they heard the, fire. This is all actually really well set up. And so she doesn't even get to win. She gets bailed out where she escapes. The escape was pretty easy, where suddenly the government people are only focusing on them and not her, and she gets out. But
I liked how she came in, she's like, everyone get out! And they're like...
And then the bad guys do it for them, but just by slapping someone.
He knocks someone out, and then they're like, I'm not having a part of this, I'm out.
Here.
Yeah, Any other thoughts?
They turned the lights off.
Yeah.
But they don't realise she's Nightlight.
No, that's the point.
It's funny that she glows in the dark, yet the feds are after her. Glowies.
We don't really know what their
get that one.
capabilities are of the Jinn people. They seem to be stronger, and they were able to get weapons that seem to appear, that grew out of stuff. But again, to what level? Do they actually have powers apart from superhuman capacity and supposed longevity? It's justified, though. They're extra-dimensional beings of some kind. It would be interesting if they actually started to manifest powers that are more traditionally associated with genies and things.
Yeah, like the Will Smith slap. And that's what one of them did. Remember at the start of like, no, we're not leaving, and like, oh hell no.
All right. Again, so it's still playing out, fighting. She uses her powers to defend herself, but she's not great. Whip out some interesting weapons. And then so Bruno comes in.
Bruno takes a seat.
He does.
Yeah, the fact it didn't explode.
Okay.
We get it, you've done it.
Bomb joke.
But I like that Bruno, he's trying to help in any way he can.
Just like all your jokes.
Then he gets thrown into a wall, right? And at first I was wondering, he's really like playing up that he's hurt, but then again, he's a regular person that got thrown into a wall. We're kind of used to people just brushing off things that would break ribs and stuff. And so, yeah, he probably could be seriously injured. And
He looked like he was holding his wrist. He might have a broken arm.
Wait a minute, though. He got a chair thrown at him, and he got knocked into a wall, okay? If you're on set with, like, Mel Gibson, that happens all the time. But that girl at the beginning got hit by a massive hammer and then fell down.
It's true.
And she was fine.
Yeah.
And that kid also fell, like, at least 10 feet without...
Maybe it was a foam hammer. Oh,
That got.
He threw that hard.
Yeah. I was mistaken. I thought Bruno got thrown into the wall. No, a chair got thrown at him with such force it knocked him off his feet into a wall.
And
should
I
have
think
killed
it
him.
actually broke his arm.
Yeah, he's probably not even showing nearly the level of injury he should after a hit like that from a regular person.
Was he knocked out?
No, but he's holding his wrist and he's crunching over like he had a cracked rib or something. And yeah, that or more. And then that's what causes Kamala to lash out and actually fight back. All right. Her stance is horrible, but then she wouldn't have a good stance. She doesn't know how to position her weight and actually get proper... She doesn't know how to throw a punch. She's doing... That is... But again, she shouldn't have any combat training, so I guess, and it's just a power doing it, so... All right. Okay, I'll let it pass.
Even Ant-Man had to learn how to punch. If they give us something like that, you know...
Yeah. But yeah, like, it makes sense she's had no combat training.
That's my point. If they showed us her getting some training, that'd be cool.
Exactly, yeah. And then if they
Training
showed her
montage.
training and then showed me that, I'll be like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. It's like Tai Chi or something. Yeah.
Punch, get your shoulder, you know? Anyway. So the other guy comes in and look, he tries to fight to protect her, you know. But I don't think that actually diminishes Bruno's attempt to help. This guy's obviously training. He's got some gin blood
Well,
in
he
him.
saved her for a second.
For a second.
You know what I realised? She's kind of the polar opposite to Bullseye. Miss Marvel.
I like that one. I like the puns.
Good old clean. Now let's get back to the racism.
And so they get surrounded. Bruno's hurt. Yeah, menacing. Yeah, I know. She's like,
That's great. You look like a goat.
I'm gonna catch you.
It kind of is like that. Where are you going, huh?
But
I got into the
it's
US,
like,
I can
betray you? She said she's
She
gonna help. She
never
just need more
betrayed
time.
you.
You psycho. But I guess they are psychos. They were banished for a reason. They're bad peoples. And then she touches the bangle, causes a vision of a train.
I thought she was trying to open the portal here.
It's a train.
Like it wasn't a plane.
Well, that's what happened. The
That's
aunt.
when the grandma had stuff bad happen.
Yes.
Do you think her grandma could come back?
Oh, the grandma's still alive.
She is?
That's my prediction.
Is that where this is?
No,
she
sorry,
in
wait,
there?
wait, okay. Her grandma is the one she's been talking with,
Yeah.
but the grandma's mother
No, great grandma. That's what
is
I
the
meant to
one that
say.
found the bangle, and that's the one I expect is still alive.
Do you think they'd see the same thing at the bar mitzvah?
Excuse me.
If any of our Muslim viewers are still with us, I salute you. Thank you.
I love them. No, I've had lots of a fair amount of discussions. I mean, they're fine people.
Oh, look, a lot of them are just... it's just... You do go in, like...
The surest sign
There's
that I
a
like
lot
you,
more jokes to...
the surest sign that I like someone is that I'm willing to make offensive jokes about them.
It's true.
It's if I'm scared of them and actually terrified, I won't say a single thing.
Okay.
And we've seen that.
I'm a very fearful person.
All right, so yep, government comes in. They got like circular force gun thingies. They go knock people away, and then she just slips out. I felt that one was a bit weak. It's like, yeah, she just gets away pretty easily. Does a power in front of the friend.
That felt a bit contrived.
Yes and no. So they set up and they show the friend looking around. I'm going to try and find another place in. Her next
Why
logical
does she
thing would be
wanna
one
find
of the.
another place in?
Oh, she's
Because she is
controlling.
an action woman.
She's a woman of action. That's right, Nathan. And so she would go to one of the back entrances. That's one of the exits they would choose. So it's not. I get it. It's a bit, but it's also somewhat justifiable. So I don't think it's terrible. Timing was perfect though to her just happen to use the powers right when the friend is there.
But seriously though, like the building's been locked down and evacuated. Feds run in with guns, and you want to go in there? Like, do you want to martyr yourself?
Well, she walked away before the feds came.
Shad got
Oh
it.
dear.
Gosh, they're relentless.
They don't stop.
Oh, you think I'm excessive?
Protect us from being demonetized by supporting us on Patreon and Subscribe Star. We would appreciate support and security. So Oz can keep making jokes. Protect Oz's ability to joke.
Yeah, we need to hire security now too, by the way. And metal detectors. Can't even have scissors in the office.
Bruno's injured. They can't talk about it. Tells her to take home.
Can't talk about.
Why,
Claudia, come on. Like, seriously.
So without bringing it
Seriously,
up.
Claudia,
Always
like,
ask
come on.
for.
Can
That's
no one
ridiculous.
ever even say the name Bruno now without people referencing that song?
Like, Claudia, we can talk about, 9/11, the really bad one for the Jews, as a,
Yes.
But we
you know.
can't talk about.
But we we don't talk about recent acts of terror, okay?
Yes.
We're not going to talk about any recent atrocities.
Terrors against good taste and intelligence.
Yeah, we don't talk about that song.
He who cannot be
Encanto
named.
is an overrated film.
We won't
Yeah.
talk about he who cannot be named.
Thank you. That is exactly it now.
Spanish Voldemort.
Yes.
Jefe
Voldemort.
Potter. Voldemort. He's a morte eater.
We don't
I see
talk about Voldemort there. So, situation set up in this scene now. Marla comes back. Parents want to know why. Some things are done good. Some things are not done satisfactorily to me. The parents brush it off way too easily. Okay? That's kind of their bag of tricks. Is like, Kamala does something that's concerning. We are very disappointed in you, Kamala. End of story. It's like, they would be like, what the hell's going on? Like, seriously, people saw her pull the fire thing. There wasn't a fire, but legitimate police showed up, and people got arrested. Something serious happened. Did Kamala see it beforehand? And it would be pretty easy for Kamala to actually give an answer that was satisfactory enough. As like, I saw some crazy people with weapons come into the building. Done.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And your parents would be like, "What is going on here? Are you okay?
Yeah,
Are
it's
you
like,
injured?"
I got away. Bad people were arrested. We're all safe now. End of story.
You're grounded.
To be fair, though,
I don't know, if I was a president, God, that is like,
I'm just kidding.
you probably saved a lot of people. Like, these were legitimate bad people.
would the parents be sus of her if the feds ran into the building and didn't arrest her, though?
No, I wouldn't say they would.
Put me down.
So there's that. So I was unsatisfied with, if someone was smart, there's an easy conclusion to be able to resolve this issue. So then that was unsatisfying. I did like, though, that she did the superhero trope of, these are dangerous people. I don't want you to try and get too involved because I need to protect you now. That's the superhero trope. Keeping the secret to protect your family. It seemed like a moment of self-sacrifice for her because she's risking disapproval of the parents. It just was executed poorly, but I'm glad they at least have some foresight enough to realise here are some good superhero tropes. We're going to try and do it. Still not to the level. It's superhero diet. This is the episode. Superhero
It's
diet.
slice of
But
life
sometimes I can
superhero.
enjoy a diet drink, even when I want something with hardcore sugar.
I'm glad you said sugar there.
Yes.
I'm glad you've kept yourself halal.
And this is pretty much the episode. Then she gets called by the grandma and says, you need to come over to, where was it? Bangladesh or somewhere? Pakistan. Because...
Get excited for the next episode, guys! It was a snooze fest for this one, but just get excited. That's
Bad. You should have seen last episode. That was the snooze fest.
This is not meant to be a joke. I'm being serious. You can guarantee they're going to do some airport security. Oh, we're just going to interrogate you for 4 hours because of random selection. You can bet they're going to do
All right,
that joke.
I'll be very interested. Also, how is she going to
How
justify...
much are you going to bet?
Well, if they didn't do that joke, I'd be very disappointed in these writers. Because I would have.
I want to know how they're going to justify her going to another country. It's like, Grandma wants to see me. Oh, yeah, okay. But
Very
the
disappointed.
mother's estranged from the grandma. That's already set up. So what reason are they going to say, all right. So there we go. Miss Marvel episode 3. Not terrible. Not great. Best episode so far for me.
So you're saying it's the least offensive episode so far?
Yeah.
But our most offensive review.
Probably. More superhero stuff than has been in other episodes, but it's all very lightly done. I can see why people enjoy it. There are some things to enjoy in it. Could have been way better. Annoyed that they haven't even put in this amount of effort, which is still, in my opinion, low effort, but it's a lot more effort than Kenobi, in things that we would actually care about. And this is where we are with Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Not offensively bad. Some things to enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll watch the next episode.
Am I interested enough to watch the next episode?
I just want to see how it ends.
I'm hanging on by a thread. Like, if this episode was like a repeat of episode 2, I would have been out. To me, it was an improvement, and so you got me. You got me by a thread.
Shad, to quote Brown Jovi, we're halfway there. We're living on a prayer.
Thank you for joining us, and as always, stay watchful.
And healthy.
That goes for
That
you,
too.
FBI and CIA. John trying to get on.
We love all our Muslim brothers.
Absolutely.
And sisters. You're welcome here.
Well, not in the studio. Ooh, background checks first.
He praying for forgiveness right now.
Stay on watch, Charlie.
So I just want to. I don't know. Like, I hope they make fun of us Christians for saying.
Go ahead. Hey, give us
we'd
some
love it.
Christian jokes.
Like, it reminds me of that South Park episode where they have the 2 Chinese reporters making fun of Americans. It's like, oh no, I will try and be American. I'll use my credit card.
Classic. That's accurate, though. We do be like that. And we'd be like that.
Sometimes you just gotta laugh at yourself, people. Okay, there's a sign off there somewhere. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Stay watchful. Done.
And if you see something, say something.